it's more than just a triangle, but can I represent everybody with a triangle with three people?
Sure.
Steph Curry, you represent the players and the team. Steve Kerr, you represent the coaching staff, and Joe Lacob, you represent the ownership. I don't understand. Everybody says that they want the group to all keep going, yet it just keeps heading down this railroad track of it's not going to happen. And it's like I don't understand why. I'm okay with it if that's the way everybody wants it to go, but you've all been saying that that's not how you want it to go. Steph Curry, I want Steve Kerr to be my coach. Steve Kerr, I'll never leave Steph. Joe Lacob, we'd like to offer him a 2-year deal. Okay, what are we doing then? Why is it going this way? Something is amiss. Somebody's not telling us something. Somebody's mad at somebody about something, but it's none of the stuff that you're telling us. And if you remember Anthony Slater, like 4 weeks ago, you and I were sitting at Splash, and that report came out where he's like, they're worried about the runner's knee thing because why? Because everything is about next year.
Right.
Remember that report? 4 or 5 weeks ago. And now this is what we're doing? Now
we might be doing this. We don't know.
Now we're grabbing a new coach to come in here and who knows what? What the hell happened?
A lot happened.
In those 4 weeks?
Well,
what?
The whole, I will never leave Steph, that's, I think, a long time ago. I don't know how long ago, the last time he said it, but...
No, that was this year.
Right, but this year went a certain way, and that way was all bad with the catastrophic injuries, the disappointing record, the Kuminga saga, so many other things that took place this year, and you wind up a 37-win team, and you lose 45, you go to the play-in, and you don't even make the playoffs. So I don't know if Steve Kerr has already decided either way, or if Joe Lacob has decided either way. I know that Steph is going to be the guy wanting him to be the coach, and you read all those other quotes from all the other players, and they're all just praising Steve, and, he's like a father to me and all the rest of it. So I don't know where it would come from. My gut would be if Steve Kerr decides that he doesn't want to coach anymore, it's going to be because he doesn't want to coach anymore.
Let's just let everybody know kind of where it stands. Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area, posted an article just within the last few hours. And we'll go through some of the specific quotes, but just to give you an overarching view of what it says, it sort of says, unless there is some sort of unseen, unforeseen change of heart, Steve Kerr will not be the coach of the Warriors next year. And then it goes on to very much paint a picture of Steve is leaving, not being told, not being fired, not being forced. Steve doesn't want to come back. And I'm looking at this going, well, then a lot of things that have been said over recent months don't add up. They don't make any sense. And I'll start with that one. And I feel like it's been said repeatedly and
many
recently.
Times, yeah.
I'll never leave Steph. And there you are, like
leaving Steph,
putting your arms on their shoulders on the sideline in Phoenix going, I love you guys to death. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, it's like Monty's article make it sound like whatever happens is up to you.
Right.
So why do you not know what's going to happen?
Because he probably wants to have some time to reflect on the year, get away, which is why we won't have him on this week. And you take a full week or maybe even a week and a half, whatever it's going to be, and then you have time to really think about what you want to do. Do you still want to keep doing this? If it really is his choice, if it's Steve Kerr saying yay or nay, and they want to sign him to a multi-year extension if he comes back, well, then you have to look at, 2 years or 3 years, depending on how much longer Steph will be here. And I don't know, you get to be 60 and you look at your life, it might be time to try something else,
Oh, I get all that.
Right.
That's not what everybody, including him, has been saying the whole time, including last week.
Right, but the whole time he's been saying at the end of the year, then we'll sit down and we'll figure it out.
I still love coaching. I'll never leave Steph. I love you guys to death. This is that's all. It's fine if he wants to. It's kind of like what Steph said. Like the most important thing to them is that Steve is happy. And if Steve doesn't want to do this anymore, then cool. Don't do this anymore. Like life will go on. But I'm sort of stunned because, and again, I don't think this is over yet by any stretch, but I'm stunned we're in this moment because something doesn't add up. maybe multiple things don't add up. And I'll continue to sit there, which is if Anthony Slater said this, and this was on ESPN just a month ago on the Hoop Collective podcast.
Next season has become the season in this final Steph era, and I don't think at all they want to jeopardize that. And this is, from what I gather, an injury that they fear if you do put him back on the court and he's not quite ready, it could re-injure, re-aggravate.
Okay, so there's one premise.
Right.
Next season is the season,
right?
In the Steph era. This is the one. You gotta be ready for that one. And Steph is under contract, and Jimmy is under contract, and Draymond is under contract, and all of these things are so you're going to start it with a new coach?
You might. And, after whatever happened over the past month, it was not good. Steph's runner's knee continued to be a problem, and you lost a lot of basketball games, and you wound up getting knocked out in the play-in. So the team, and maybe Joe Lacob is frustrated to a point where he decides that now is the time for some wholesale changes. And that would start with a new coach, and maybe you move out a couple of your aging stars and you move their contracts and you start to really turn this thing over.
So you think this is coming from Joe?
I don't know.
Okay,
I think it's coming from Steve.
The article very much suggests that Steve is the one who needs to be convinced to come back, and that is considered very unlikely. There's even a line in there that says, and it's not money, which I really believe. I've always kind of scratched my head when people are like, well, there's a certain number they're going to have to hit. And I'm like, why would that even be a thing? Joe's not a penny pincher, number one. And Steve's made $1 gajillion, and I don't think operates that way to where it's like, oh, I really wanted to keep coaching, but they only offered me 19 and I wanted 20. What are we talking about here? Like, that's not a viable play. The article says they could offer him 25, and that wouldn't do it. Okay, so that's what I'm after. What is this, and who's driving it? That's what I want to know.
I'm reading the piece, and Monty writes, yet Kerr last week left open the possibility, very slight, according to sources, of returning. So it seems to me that Steve Kerr is the one who is making this decision to not even, go to Joe and say, yeah, let's do a multi-year deal. If he wants to leave, and last week he left open a very slight possibility that he may return. So that tells me that this is coming from Steve Kerr.
Monty Poole, apparently on the Dubs Talk podcast, just stated that the percentage chance that Steve Kerr is the coach of the Warriors next year is, pick a number, what do you think?
Probably like 5?
15.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not
15.
great.
It's like Patrick Bailey getting a hit.
That's about right, huh? Batting 150.
Sorry, Grandy. Grandy didn't like that one. Maybe Susek starting tonight. I don't know yet. It's
15% chance.
15.
Okay.
And you know that I love this. That for me is from the same files of like the injured players. Like, why is he about 88%? I'm like, what does that mean? Where are you getting these numbers? Anyway, okay, 15%. I think it's coming from Steve. I can't wait for that interview.
Right.
I got questions, dude.
Tons of questions.
Because I accept it, but I don't get it. I don't get it, and I do believe that in this moment, until further answers and explanations are provided, and I'm not saying that we're owed that, but we do get to ask the questions, I find something to either be disingenuous or information not shared. And that's okay. Like, we still don't know where Andrew Wiggins was.
Right.
It's okay. You're allowed to have your own information. Why did Bob Myers leave? You can all still debate it. We don't really know. But, so it's not owed to us, but everything that you all are saying is actively not coming true right now with no barriers. There's zero barriers to you all doing what you're saying you want to do. Steph wants you. Draymond wants you. Lacob apparently, according to reports, wants to offer you 2 years, not 1. He wants you just to be locked in. You say you love coaching and you're locked in. You say you'll never leave Steph. Okay, where's the hole in this dam?
Well, the hole is that he's 60 and he's done it for 12 straight years, and this year was probably exhausting. And he said he enjoyed it. He enjoys coaching and all the rest of it, but he's at 15% right now. It doesn't mean that come next week after some time in San Diego and putting your feet in the ocean, he may come back and say, you know what, I just needed that week.
Yeah.
I needed about 10 days to refresh, and now I'm going to get all recharged and do it for a couple more years. But yeah, if Steve Kerr is the one making the decision, I can see where, based on how this went and where they are right now as a franchise, I could see him, being burnt out.
I'm having a hard time because I'm asking myself these questions too, right? And I think we'd love to welcome you into this conversation. Mark Spears in less than an hour. Maybe he'll have some insight. 888-957-9570. What do you think's going on? What do you think's going on here? Because if I just take everyone at face value, I don't arrive at the spot on the chessboard where we've apparently arrived. I don't get there.
Yeah.
There is, if you think about this like Chutes and Ladders or whatever, all those games where you need to follow the little path on the board, there's no path that they've created that leads to where we are, but we're here.
Well, much like Chutes and Ladders, where you're cruising along and then you get on the space where you break the cookie jar and you hit the chute all the way down.
You're the one with the little one. I don't remember
We're
this.
Not there yet. That's going to be the next game.
It's been a decade since I've played this game.
You be bopping along, and then the ladders are good, and then the chutes are bad. And so you hit a chute, and you go all the way back down to spot 21 or whatever. And so I don't necessarily think that this is that, but if Steve next week says, you know what, I'm going to step away, I'm not going to coach anymore, then it becomes interesting on what happens next. Not only who do they hire, but what do they do with the roster? And does Draymond get a 2-year deal? Or does Draymond rework his deal? Or does he opt in? There's a lot of things that will follow the Steve Kerr decision.
I have to guess that there are philosophical differences that we are not being told about. Philosophical differences, for sure.
I mean, between management and Steve Kerr and the players as well?
No, management.
All roads lead to Kuminga?
Well, that was one of them. You know what I mean? That was one of them. That's one thing in about, 15 different sort of things. Jonathan looked great last night.
He sure did.
Jonathan looked great last night, man, for Atlanta.
Nice little comeback win.
Nice win, and he was a part of it for sure.